Hey guys, this is Mr. H. Hey, I decided to make this video because I was going through the Regents exams, and I was looking at some questions that were talking about equivalence, um, and I wanted to kind of give my spin on what I think equivalence versus equality and how they're similar and how they are not similar. So I'm going to make this video, and even though it's not math based exactly, this is kind of how I think about equivalence and equality or equals. All right, so I'm starting with this image because everyone knows it. It's a dollar bill, and the person on the front, that's old George Washington, first president of the United States. So everyone knows what a dollar bill looks like. All right, so I'm going to use this image to highlight the difference between equivalence and equality. All right, so let me go this way. So that's the dollar bill, George Washington. Now, this is a quarter, but it also has a picture of Mr. George Washington. And before, the dollar was worth $1, and this one is worth 25. Now, even though they both have pictures of George Washington, everyone knows that those two things are not equal and they're not equivalent. Very easy to understand the difference. All right, but what about this? What if I put 4 quarters on the screen? Would we say this is equal to a dollar bill, or is it equivalent to a dollar bill, or is it both? Well, I would say that it's equivalent. The dollar bill, the dollar bill and the 4 quarters are equivalent because they have the same value. Like when we add them all up, they're both equal to 100, whatever, 100 cents. Okay. But they're not equal in the sense that they're different forms. So even though they're equivalent, they're not equal. Now, some people will say, that's kind of semantics. They are equal. I said, no, I don't think it's just semantics. They're not equal, but they are equivalent. Now, this was easy. We know that these are neither equal and they're also not equivalent because one is 75 cents, one is $1. But if I go back and I would say, what's equivalent to $1? Well, or what's equal to $1? So another dollar. And in this case, I made a copy of it. So I definitely know that these two are not only equivalent, but they're equal because it's a copy. Now, some people might argue, well, a copy is a copy, so it's not the original, so they can't be equal, they can be equivalent. But in my mind, the way I like to think about it, these two are equal and they're equivalent. Now, let me go back. Whoops, didn't want to get rid of that. Let me go back to the next one. This one, back to this image. So some people would say these are just equivalent. Some people say they're equal. I think they're equivalent. I don't think that they're equal. And this is the best way that I could explain it. They have the same value, so they are equivalent, but they're not the same thing, so they're not equal. And if you've ever been to a laundromat, you know they're not equal. Because if they were equal, you wouldn't need a dollar changing machine, which you normally see when you go to a laundromat. They allow you to use quarters, but if you don't have the correct change, you can't put a dollar bill in there, right? Now, some machines, they take both. But for the most part, when you go into a laundromat, you know you need quarters. Now, a lot of them are becoming a lot more electronic, so it's kind of, this argument is kind of going away. But if you've ever gone to a laundromat, you know I need some quarters. Dollars are not going to cut it. And if the change machine is out and there's no one around to change your dollar bill into quarters, you also know that they're not equal. They are equivalent, but they're not equal. Every day you go to a laundromat, you know there's a difference. Now, that is the difference in my mind. Equal is stronger than equivalence. Equal mathematically is stronger than equivalence. but I'm going to save that for another day. But I just wanted to give you a snapshot. When you say equivalence and you say equal, most people use them interchangeably, and for most of the time, 99% of the time, you can get away with it. But they're not the same, at least in my mind. Equal or equality it's stronger than equivalence. Equivalence is similar to, but it's not the same thing as equality. So I hope that helps. If it doesn't, leave a comment, but I was just trying to highlight the difference. And I wasn't trying to be real technical with the math, but I just wanted to give you an idea of when we were talking about equivalence and equality, what I think, at least in my mind, the difference. All right, so I'm going to stop this, post it. If you have some comments, leave them in the comment section. But yeah, that's it. All right, I'm signing off.